Get ready. This message isn't a coincidence. It's arriving at the exact moment you're ready to hear it. The universe has seen your quiet endurance, your silent strength, and now the reward is near. You didn't find this message by accident. It found you. Because deep down, you've always sensed something was coming. A shift, a purpose, a calling you couldn't name, but could never ignore. July 18th was never meant to be ordinary. This day was set apart from the beginning. You're standing at the edge of something that doesn't follow the rules of the world you've known. This moment isn't for the crowd, it's for the chosen, for the ones who've always felt slightly out of rhythm with the world around them. If you've ever questioned whether the universe forgot about you, this is your confirmation. It didn't. Your signal just came in. If these words speak to your soul, drop a comment below, or simply leave 88 as a symbol of your awakening. Let's see how many of us are truly waking up today. And if you're afraid it's too late to catch this shift, don't turn away. There's a powerful reason you're still right on time. I'll reveal that soon. But first, there's something essential you need to understand. Something no one has told you. The real reason you've always felt like you didn't belong, and it's nothing like you've imagined. Your isolation was never a punishment, it was always a filter. Let's be honest. Not everyone is meant to wake up right now, when deep down you've sensed all along that you're simply not made like everyone else. Think about those restless nights, the weight of unspoken energy in a crowded room, the way you sense what's never said out loud. That's not a flaw. That's your sensitivity to the signal. Your path has been tough because your mission has always been bigger than comfort. You weren't shaped for an easy life. You were designed for crystal clear perception. July 18th is opening a doorway, not for those who wait to be rescued, but for those who are already built to see. What's coming isn't looking for followers. It's searching for the ones who already wear the mark of endurance, for those who've survived the fire and still have the strength to listen. The reason this exact moment stands out, the reason July 18th is unlike any other day, is because something that's been blocking your way for years is finally gone. And you need to understand what that means. True clarity doesn't come when the world goes quiet. It arrives when you can finally hear the source beneath all the noise. So why does July 18th matter so much? It's not about fireworks, eclipses, or cosmic upheaval. This date is special because it's one of those rare moments when all the spiritual static clears. There's no harsh astrological pressure, no dramatic energetic shakeups, and no sudden karmic reversals. Instead, the sky exhales, the whole system calms, and what remains is real space. Space for you to finally hear your own deeper knowing. On most days, your intuition is fighting to break through layers of noise, loud thoughts, loud energy, and loud distractions. But now for a short window, that interference is at an all-time low. The quiet you've longed for is here, not just to give you peace, but to unlock access to something deeper. This isn't the kind of day that shouts its arrival. You won't get obvious signs in the sky, but if you're ready, you'll feel it. You might notice you're feeling sharper lately, almost as if something deep within you is finally trying to break through after being blocked for years. That strange sense of alertness you've been picking up on, that subtle pull you can't quite explain, it's because your inner senses are already tuning in. As the interference fades away, like it is now, those who are spiritually attuned start to receive things they weren't able to before. July 18th is a day made for listening, but it's not about being passive. If you're ready, you'll be handed insights, ideas, symbols, intuitive nudges, and even forgotten memories. But here's the catch. If you ignore them, they may not come back. That's the unique power of this moment. There's no repeat signal, just one rare window of clarity. And not everyone will even notice it, because this level of awareness only feels loud to those who've spent years learning how to truly hear the silence. The most vital messages are often whispered when the world finally quiets down. But before you brush this off as just another energy portal, remember that this kind of quiet always signals that something meaningful is moving closer. Your awakening is unfolding with perfect timing. It was never delayed. It was protected. Let's clear something up. If you're still here and listening, it's because you were always meant to be. You haven't missed your chance, and you're not behind. There's a myth floating around that if you haven't discovered your purpose by now, you've missed your shot. But that's just not true. The universe doesn't throw away those who blossom later in life. In fact, it saves the rarest gifts for the ones strong enough to hold them. You weren't slowed down. You were being fortified. If life hasn't always felt gentle with you, it's because what you hold inside is far from ordinary. And only extraordinary conditions could ever bring that out in you. The age you are right now and every experience you've survived aren't just baggage. They're living proof. This is your spiritual infrastructure, the foundation that sets you apart. Plenty of people got an early start, burning bright and fast. But some of us were made to arrive precisely when the real shift is set to begin. We're not here to blend in or play small. We're here to anchor energies and truths that can't be trusted to just anyone. And here's something you might need to finally hear. Something that rarely gets said. The universe isn't late, and neither are you. Your journey hasn't been delayed as punishment. The timing has always been protected, not hindered by your pace. So if you've been carrying any shame for not reaching some imaginary finish line, let it go. You are the timing. July 18th isn't some endpoint. It's an ignition, a spark that doesn't wait for anyone, but opens to those who are still standing. If you're still here standing strong, something very real is approaching. Not just another lesson or test, but a direct, unmistakable opportunity. And when it arrives, it might even make you question whether your thoughts are truly your own. Your destiny isn't something you chase after. It's been circling around you, just waiting for you to finally stop running. This is the secret nobody really tells you. While you've been exhausted, overthinking, and doubting your place in the world, trying to pin down your purpose, something bigger has been quietly watching you. Not just watching, but actively tracking you. Your highest dream, the one you barely let yourself imagine anymore because life tried to beat the magic out of you. The dream that once felt too big, too strange, too impossible, that dream has never left. It's just been orbiting, waiting for its moment. It doesn't knock or demand attention. It simply aligns with you. The moment your energy stops leaking into distractions and old patterns, that alignment window, that vibrational doorway, begins to open starting tomorrow. Music. Not because the stars say so, or because the calendar marks a special day, but because the interference is at an all-time low. The signals are clear, and you, for the first time in years, are finally visible to what's been seeking you. That dream, that true path, that version of yourself you thought you'd lost, it's still here. It's just been waiting for your frequency to stabilize enough so it can land without burning out. And if lately you've had sudden flashes of déjà vu or a sense that something big is about to happen, even if you can't quite explain it, that's not just your imagination. It's your future drawing closer. Quick pause, family. If this message is resonating with your soul and you'd like to support this sacred work, feel free to buy me a coffee. Your support helps keep this space alive with truth, light, and divine clarity. You'll find the link in the description, and don't forget to drop 88 in the comments. Now let's keep going. You're not the one doing the chasing anymore. That long-awaited dream, that purpose you've sensed, is actually closing in on you. But here's the catch. It's never going to barge in or demand your attention. It won't shout over the noise of your life. Instead, you have to be still, quiet enough to feel the subtle shift when the energy around you changes. And when it does, you'll need the courage to say, "This is it. I'm not turning away this time." Some dreams don't make a grand entrance. They don't arrive with drama or fanfare. They show up fully formed, already prepared for you. But you can only recognize them if you're paying attention. July 18th isn't about everything magically falling into your lap. It's about finally being able to see the outline of your destiny shimmering just past the familiar veil of your doubts. So don't wait for a dramatic sign in the sky. Instead, look for that quiet moment when something brushes so close you can't explain it, but you feel it resonate in your bones. That's when you'll realize it's here. It's been circling you all along, waiting for the exact moment you'd be ready. And when you sense it, prepare yourself, because that dream will finally ask if you're ready to step up and become the version of yourself who can actually hold it, live it, and nurture it. Most people only ever meet a tiny fraction of who they really are. They go through life seeing only a sliver of their own potential, while the rest lies in wait, hidden and watching, silently hoping for the right moment to awaken. There is a version of you more powerful, wise, and complete than you've ever known, that you haven't met yet. This isn't because it's out of reach or because you're not ready. It's because this deeper self has been dormant, tucked beneath layers built to survive, to perform, to please, to fit in. Every single one of us carries this sleeper self, the part that doesn't use words or logic, but moves according to a primal, ancient intelligence. It knows exactly why you came here, even if the rest of you has forgotten. For most people, that inner self never awakens. The noise of daily distractions, deep-rooted conditioning, and the ever-present fear of stepping outside the familiar keep it locked away. It stays buried, silent, waiting for the right signal. But every once in a while, on rare, powerful days, the veil between your ordinary, everyday awareness and your sleeper self thins. Suddenly, you start to notice subtle shifts inside, a stirring, a sense that something is stretching awake within you, even if you can't quite describe it. If you've been feeling that lately, like something inside you is shifting, but you don't have words for it, it's because tomorrow, July 18th, is almost here. The sleeper self never rises by accident. It responds to very specific conditions. That silence, that dramatic drop in interference we talked about, isn't just about mental clarity. It's a genuine invitation for your deepest self to step forward. Your sleeper self has been waiting patiently for a clear, unmistakable signal. A moment when it feels safe and possible to come to the surface. That moment is now approaching, and you may even feel it as a restless energy, a quiet excitement, or an unexplainable urge to do something different. Are you ready to remember? Because honestly, that's what this is all about. It's not about learning something brand new. It's about remembering what's always been inside you, hidden beneath years of survival mode and layers of programming, lying in wait for a day like tomorrow, when your truest self finally gets to rise. Your sleeper self, the deepest part of your being, carries memories older than your current life. Memories of soul contracts, intentions, and agreements you made long before you ever arrived on this planet. You might not consciously recall them, but on some deep ancient level, your spirit remembers. You are not broken. You have never truly been lost. What you're experiencing is not a malfunction. It's simply that your full potential, your complete self, hasn't fully come online yet. And that's not a failure. It's a sacred process. Tomorrow might not rewrite your story in one dramatic instant, but it could very well trigger the subtle but undeniable beginning of your true reactivation. The moment the next chapter of your evolution quietly begins to unfold. When your old self begins to dissolve, your mind will often try to label it as confusion, as if you're supposed to panic or try to piece things back together. But from the perspective of your soul, this is pure evolution, a signal that you're growing beyond old limits. Lately, you may have noticed that things just feel off. Not the kind of chaos that disrupts your world or makes you afraid, but a quieter, subtler discomfort. You look in the mirror, and yes, you recognize your face, but the sense of you seems to be hovering just outside your skin, as if you're witnessing your own life from a slight distance. Your routines, your old rhythms, the way you used to automatically move through your days. Suddenly, none of it quite fits. You aren't broken or failing. You're simply outgrowing an identity that was never meant to hold the fullness of what you're about to become. This feeling of being in a liminal, in-between space where nothing quite makes sense is not a crisis. It's not a mistake. It's what I call a crossfade. The old self is slowly fading out, while your truer, deeper self is just starting to come online. The overlap between these two versions of you is meant to be disorienting. That confusion, that sense of not knowing who you are anymore, is actually a marker of transformation. You're shedding the skin of the person you thought you needed to be to survive, the one crafted from fear, from compliance, from survival instincts, from stories that never truly belonged to you. The old you was pieced together from family expectations, cultural programming, and the demands of a world that often rewards fitting in over authenticity. And here's something almost nobody tells you. Genuine spiritual upgrades and awakenings rarely feel like glamorous, magical moments. More often, they feel like losing track of who you thought you were. You might even grieve for passions that have faded, for friendships or routines that no longer resonate. If you found yourself pulling away from social circles or old habits, it's not because you dislike people or are giving up on your dreams. It's because the roles and labels you once wore have outlived their purpose. The passions that once fueled you may feel dull, not because you're failing, but because your soul's energy is shifting towards something that aligns more authentically with your higher purpose. Your emotions might be running wild lately. Waves of sadness, unexpected bursts of joy, deep frustration, even periods of complete numbness. You're not losing control. In fact, what's happening is that your entire inner world is being rewired, your internal compass recalibrated, because the map you used to follow just doesn't lead anywhere meaningful anymore. Deep within, you sense this. Maybe that's why rooms that once lit you up now feel hollow, or why you crave more silence, more depth, more solitude than ever before. You want what's real, what's true. Becoming who you're truly meant to be often feels like forgetting everything you never actually were. And as we draw closer to rare energetic alignments like July 18th, those special days where the cosmic interference drops and spiritual receptivity soars, this unraveling becomes louder, more insistent, and impossible to ignore. If you feel like a stranger to yourself right now, know that it's not a sign of failure or regression. It's a sign that something timeless and wise within you is stepping forward while your old ego finally learns to surrender. Don't pressure yourself to make sense of it all. Let the static clear and give yourself grace, because the version of you that's emerging is the one that actually remembers your original purpose for being here. Tomorrow, this remembering won't just be a vague feeling. It will start to take shape and become something you can actually sense and trust. This is the difference between awakening and activation. Awakening is when you realize you are so much more than a body, more than a collection of habits and history, more than a product of your upbringing or wounds. Activation is when you actually begin to become that more, when you let your soul's memory and mission shape your choices, your words, your way of being. There is a massive difference between those who merely awaken and those who activate. Most people wake up. They see through the illusions, the old scripts, the false patterns. They stop running from themselves. And for the first time, they see the world's deeper currents and connections. It's exhilarating, it's terrifying, and it's real. But that's not the end point. It's the starting line. Awakening brings you awareness, but activation demands embodiment. It asks you to live as your highest self, to make choices from your soul instead of your fear. And that is what July 18th is truly about. It's not a day for wishful thinking or easy manifestation boards. It's not about wishing for things you haven't vibrationally prepared for. It's about standing in the new light, fully present, and letting the deepest, most powerful part of yourself finally take the lead. You are stepping into a new frequency, and for perhaps the first time, you're ready to hold what you once only dreamed was possible. July 18th is an invitation, a portal, a call to not just wake up, but to embody the truth you already carry within. The universe isn't handing out easy miracles. It's handing out keys to those who have done the inner work, faced their shadows, survived the crossfade, and are ready to move from simply being aware to truly living their mission. And as you take those steps, know that you're not alone. This journey is sacred. Your soul has waited lifetimes for this moment. Embrace the unknown, honor the discomfort, and trust that what's emerging within you is the most authentic, empowered, and extraordinary version of yourself you have ever met. This journey you're on is not some kind of spiritual tourism. It's not about dabbling, exploring a few interesting philosophies, or collecting temporary highs from rituals and mantras you can post about online. This is your true spiritual return. It's the process of remembering, reawakening, and reclaiming the deepest layers of yourself and your soul's contract with the universe. And make no mistake, activation, when it truly arrives, is messy, unpredictable, and humbling. It isn't some tidy image of becoming light and love, floating through your days as if nothing can touch you. True activation is about becoming truth itself, about being so anchored in your mission, so deeply rooted in your authentic essence, that you're willing to stand there even when every old comfort and every bit of certainty is stripped away. It's about showing up raw and real, even when that means standing in the storm of your own vulnerability. It's about refusing to wear the old masks, even when that costs you approval, comfort, or a place in circles that used to make you feel safe. To activate is to walk your talk. It's to answer your calling, even if the road ahead looks lonely or uncertain. It's to obey the whisper within you, the nudge to move, to speak, to act, especially when it doesn't make sense yet. Because when you're truly activated, you recognize that something deeper and much wiser is in charge, now moving you like a current beneath the surface of your life. Awakening might show you the door, letting you glimpse the possibility of another way, another life. But activation is that bold step through the threshold, that burning of bridges behind you so you're never tempted to retreat to the person you used to be. If you're here resonating with these words, you are being summoned, not just to keep awakening, but to take up the mantle of responsibility for your unique energy and your cosmic purpose. You did not come here just to collect experiences, to play it safe, or to avoid risk. You didn't make it through lifetimes of hardship just to stay small, stagnant, or numb. You came to this earth to move frequencies, to alter the very fabric of the world around you by embodying your fullest truth. You came to rattle dimensions, to ripple change across timelines, and to activate others simply by daring to be fully alive, raw, and honest in your own skin. July 18th isn't a date circled for everyone. It's not about some mass, surface-level awakening. It's a rare portal for the ones who've been feeling that electric pulse beneath the silence, the ones who sense something sacred and ancient pressing against their hearts, desperate to be set free. For those people, maybe for you, tomorrow is not a single moment, but a gate, an energetic threshold that, once crossed, there's no returning to sleep. The real work will begin. The real version of you will begin to surface. The earth, in its own mysterious wisdom, remembers the soul contract signed for moments just like this. And once you step through, nothing in your life will ever be the same. It's important to know that some leaps you'll make in this lifetime aren't just about gathering up all your courage. They're about finally surrendering to the insistent, undeniable voice that's been calling you from within for years. There's a particular type of risk that's less about fear and more about fate. A buzzing, almost electric sense in your bones that you're being called into alignment with something greater than your current reality. That call has stalked your dreams, haunted your quiet moments. And no matter how many times you tried to bury it beneath logic, excuses, or endless to-do lists, it keeps returning, growing louder, refusing to let you forget what you're meant to become. And why does it feel so intense right now? Because July 18th isn't just any day. It's one of those rare, cosmically charged windows when the universe amplifies change and multiplies bravery. The energetic current running through this day doesn't simply support transformation, it supercharges it, making the impossible feel possible and the someday feel like right now. On days like this, courage stops feeling like a desperate fight and starts to feel like the only thing that makes sense. It settles in your gut as a quiet certainty, a knowing that the dream you've been avoiding, the conversation you've sidestepped, the idea you buried in the attic of your mind is suddenly right there, calling your name with a clarity that's impossible to ignore. You might not feel fully prepared. Most of us never do. But even if your mind still runs the old scripts about timing, validation, or not being good enough, something deeper in you is utterly done with waiting. This is not a moment for reckless action or wild leaps without care. It's a sacred invitation to recognize the doorway you've walked past 1,000 times and to finally choose, with intention, to cross it. Look back on your life and notice the invisible pattern. Those seemingly random leaps of faith, those moments when you trusted a gut feeling or a sudden hunch, and everything changed as a result. Life is full of these invisible coordinates, days when the fabric of reality stretches thin and something extraordinary is allowed to come through, if you're willing to meet it. Tomorrow is one of those rare coordinates. So don't be shocked if you find your thoughts drifting back to old dreams you almost gave up on, or if someone reaches out unexpectedly to remind you of the fire you still carry. Don't be surprised if the idea that once scared you to death now feels like a strange kind of freedom, or if a decision that haunted you now brings unexpected peace. The road ahead will never be perfectly mapped out, but there comes a point when the dread of staying stuck, small and silent, finally outweighs the fear of stepping forward. July 18th can become one of those life-defining moments, a personal crossroads where you decide that enough is enough and that your truth, your voice, your dream matter too much to keep waiting. Some excuses are the most convincing lies we tell ourselves. They sound so protective, so reasonable, and they can wear the mask of wisdom. But most of the time, they are simply fear in disguise. Every time you told yourself, I'm not ready, some part of you really believed that was true. Maybe because you needed more time to heal or grow. Every time you thought it's not the right time, maybe it wasn't. Or maybe, just maybe, you were waiting for the universe to orchestrate a moment so undeniable, so energetically aligned, that it would finally call your soul forward and leave you with only one choice: to finally act, to finally trust, to finally step into the life that's been waiting for you all along. So as you approach this portal, this energetic turning point, pause for a moment and recognize the magnitude of what's being offered. This isn't about making a single big move or having all the answers at once. It's about tuning into the rare energy that's pulsing through this day, letting it fill you with clarity, and letting your ancient, truest self take the first step. The universe is not just inviting you to change, it's inviting you to remember and embody everything you came here to become. And when you step through that gate, you'll realize you were always ready and that everything you went through was preparation for this sacred return. There are rare moments in life when the universe cracks the routine, when the rhythm that has lulled you into predictability breaks, and the cycle that's kept you circling old doubts suddenly snaps. That kind of day is coming tomorrow. This isn't just another date on the calendar. This is the moment where the old comfort zone transforms before your eyes. What once felt like safety will suddenly feel like a prison. The delays you've leaned on, the distractions that numbed you, the rehearsed stories you've told yourself about why you're not quite ready, all of that begins to unravel, whether you feel prepared or not. And it's not because you're being punished or tested. It's because the version of yourself that needed those old justifications is dissolving. You're evolving beyond the need for those excuses, stepping into a space where authenticity matters more than caution. There's a fire building in the atmosphere around you. It isn't a gentle heat, and it doesn't wait for you to have everything perfectly mapped out. This energy is relentless in its honesty. It doesn't care about flawless plans or whether you feel good enough. It's searching for one thing only: truth. The truth of who you are beneath the layers of doubt. The truth of what you're here to do. It's calling for real movement and honest action. You don't need more time. You need fewer reasons to tell yourself why you can't begin. So often we think transformation needs years. But the wildest thing about a day like this is how suddenly things can change. It's not that your external world shifts overnight. It's that, in an instant, you stop fighting the part of you that is already prepared. You stop clinging to an identity that served its purpose, but is now holding you back from becoming who you're meant to be. So don't be surprised if tomorrow brings a confrontation, not necessarily with others, but with yourself. You might wake up with a sharp, undeniable awareness that you can't keep playing your old roles. You can't keep pretending to fit a version of yourself that you've outgrown, not for another week, not for another hour. If you feel a crack inside, if something within starts to split open, let it happen. That discomfort isn't a sign you're breaking down. It's a signal you're breaking through. That's the fire, the ignition, the moment when the true shift begins. You don't have to set your whole life ablaze, but you do need to stop pretending the door was ever really locked. Because when you finally see that your cage was always an illusion, the fire won't frighten you anymore. It will liberate you. There's a subtle, quiet shift approaching. And if you're even a little attuned to yourself, you'll sense it in your chest before your mind catches up. A strange stillness, almost as if something you depended on is suddenly missing. But rather than panic, you'll notice a sense of relief rising within you. Not the relief of all your questions finally being answered, but the relief that comes when those questions stop echoing through your mind. For so long, maybe for years, maybe for decades, your thoughts have played the same old hesitation reel. What if I fail? What if I'm wrong? What if I'm not ready? These doubts became such a constant presence They faded into the background, as unnoticed as the hum of a refrigerator or the ticking of a clock. But tomorrow, something different happens. That's all for today. Dear Father, I pray for the growth of my faith. Help me trust you even when physical evidence is lacking. Let me believe in your perpetual presence, knowing you will never harm me. I understand that your thoughts for me are thoughts of prosperity and not harm, to give me a good future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always listening to my voice. I offer up this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your love and provision. I am grateful for your I'm grateful for your presence in my life and the abundance you help create. If this video spoke to your spirit, please take a moment to like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message today. Drop a comment below and let us know where you are in your journey and how you're preparing for your own powerful return. If you'd like to support what we're doing, consider contributing through Buy Me a Coffee. Your support allows us to keep creating meaningful content and reaching more hearts. The link is in the description. No gift is too small, whether it's a penny, a prayer, or simply sharing this message. Your kindness makes a difference. Don't stop here. Your journey continues. Watch our next video now.